Poverty isn't a natural reality on the planet. It's literally built into the structure. Poverty is a man-made negative externality, they call it in traditional economics. I use that word in that context because it really is a negative externality, just like pollution is, like industrial pollution. Poverty just exists because that's what the system produces.
It's designed that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Design it evolved that way, I'd say. It's less designed and evolved. This is a natural thing that's happened since the Neolithic Revolution about 10,000 years ago, which basically said we have a scarce world, we're going to compete and fight and kill each other, and that's just the way it is.
Right.
And then Darwin came along and said, you know what, it's survival of the fittest, guys. Just go out there, even though that was a bastardization of his true intent. He didn't actually mean it that way. People can collaborate for survival of the fittest just as much as they can compete. It depends on the social condition. But to answer your question, it means you start to shift things away from the current model. So for labor for income, you get rid of that, you go straight to automation. I don't mean a fantasy utopia where you just automate everything. You make it a deliberate, incentivized thing to not have people needing to work for a living. And what that does is two things. It creates a foundation, because you have to bring in universal basic income, something we could do. Instantly eliminate poverty, like MLK wanted to do decades ago with his poverty movement before he was killed. And then you are maximizing the efficiency produced by technology. If anybody here is not familiar with technological unemployment and the power of automation today, it's absolutely phenomenal what we could be doing if we weren't held back by the system that requires labor for income. Right. We're talking the production of mass abundance with mass efficiency, aligning with nature, maximizing every single inch of that economic efficiency. No more obsolescence, no more waste. You create a circular economy, you create a shared economy, you create a peer-to-peer economy, which means it's all open source. There's all sorts of stuff I could ramble on about. So if you want to read more about it, they can go to the zeitgeistmovement.com, or they can read our free book, which is about 300 pages. It has a whole massive section on economic calculation and post-scarcity potentials. Here's another example, just to continue to answer your question, because it's a long answer.
Go ahead.
You start to socialize. I'm using that word loosely, meaning that you use funds, or you use resources and design to start to create systems to provide things for people for free. Vertical farm systems, you've heard of these things, right?
Yeah.
They can create immense amounts of vegetative, of nutrition, complete spectrum if that's done right. As far as there's no meat there, but this is about solving poverty first and foremost and relieving scarcity. You build these things across the coastlines. You desalinate into them. You can energize them largely through solar power. And if you were to today, and I did this statistic in the book, replace all the existing agricultural land in the world with vertical farms that were about 10 stories high, you could feed, theoretically, using that land, 34 trillion people.